There are 3.8 billion women on Earth, and there were 3.9 billion men.
But now?
It's just you. Your phone rings constantly. Your inbox is flooded. The news is talking about you. This is not a dream. This is not a fantasy. This is a new reality. You wake up one morning, and half of the world's population has vanished without explanation. But this was no ordinary disappearance. It was selective. Only men are gone. The fathers, the sons, the brothers, the soldiers, the workers, the leaders, the criminals, the athletes, all of them. You are the only one left. What happens next? A world without men. At first, there is confusion. Then, panic. The world watches in shock as the realization spreads. Governments, businesses, and households are suddenly missing half their people. Chaos unfolds almost immediately. Flights plummet from the sky as their pilots disappear midair. Cars crash as drivers vanish. Hospitals are left in turmoil as doctors, surgeons, and paramedics suddenly no longer exist. Banks, police stations, power plants, water treatment facilities, and vital industries, many of which were predominantly staffed by men, are thrown into disorder. And amidst all of this,
You.
the last man on Earth. The last man on Earth. At first, you are a mystery. Scientists scramble to understand how you survived while billions of others did not. Theories emerge. Were you genetically different? Were you immune to whatever caused this event? Could you hold the key to bringing the men back? You are taken in for testing. Your DNA is examined. Your body is scanned. Every major government wants you. Every scientist wants answers. Every media outlet wants an interview. You are no longer just a man. You are a global phenomenon. And then, once the shock fades, a new reality sets in. The world has lost half its population and with it, the ability to reproduce. Humanity now faces a biological crisis. And you are the only solution. The science of repopulation. Rebuilding the human race is not as simple as people might think. Since 1973, sperm counts have been steadily declining. Scientists suspect a combination of pollution, stress, smoking, and drinking is to blame. But now there is only one man left. And that means, 1. You need to be in perfect health. Exercise regularly to keep testosterone levels high. 2. You need a strict fertility-enhancing diet rich in vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc. 3. You need to eliminate alcohol and stress, two of the biggest fertility killers. But even if you followed the perfect plan, there is another problem: genetic diversity. Even if you fathered thousands of children, those children would all be half-siblings. Within just a few generations, inbreeding would lead to birth defects, genetic diseases, and a catastrophic population collapse. Scientists estimate that to avoid this, you would need at least 98 genetically diverse men and women to establish a sustainable human race. But there is only you. Forget romance. This is a mission. Many might imagine a dream life, surrounded by 3.8 billion women, as the last man alive. But in reality, there would be no romance, no dating, no choice. Governments would intervene immediately. You would be placed in a highly controlled fertility program where your reproductive potential is maximized for the survival of the species. Your days would be scheduled with precision. Medical professionals would monitor your nutrition, sleep, and reproductive cycles. Your body would no longer be your own. It would belong to science. And privacy? Forget about it. With you being the last man on Earth, your life would be under constant surveillance. Every nation, every scientist, every organization would want access to you. And not everyone would agree on how you should be used. What happens when governments disagree on who gets access to you? Would they fight over you? Would nations go to war to control the only hope for humanity's survival? You are no longer just a man. You are a national resource, a scientific experiment, a weapon, a society without men. Meanwhile, the world adapts. Women take over leadership roles in politics, industries, and military operations. Every sector of society is transformed overnight. Some industries struggle to function without the specialized workforce that men previously provided. Physical labor jobs, engineering, and certain industries face immediate shortages. But many women step up. They rebuild society, create new systems, and push forward. The world may be different, but it is not over. Except for one looming problem. Without male reproduction, civilization is living on borrowed time. Could science replace you? With only one man left, scientists race against time to develop artificial solutions. Cloning, a way to duplicate your DNA and create new males. Genetic engineering, manipulating existing DNA to create a new generation of men. Artificial sperm production, attempting to manufacture male reproductive cells without men. But these solutions are risky, experimental, and controversial. And what happens if they succeed? What happens when the world no longer needs you? Do they let you live in peace? Or do they erase the last trace of an outdated necessity? Has this happened before? This may sound like science fiction, but history suggests something similar has happened before. 6,000 years ago, researchers believe that climate disasters and ecological shifts may have led to a massive decline in male births, creating a gender imbalance of one man for every 17 women. In modern history, wars have devastated male populations, leaving societies with severe gender gaps. But no event in history has ever come close to what you are facing. A one-man world has never existed. And if humanity is not careful, it never should. The best solution? Prevent the problem entirely. Rather than asking, what if men disappeared? The real question should be, how do we ensure humanity never faces such a crisis? Protect the environment to prevent ecological disasters that could impact human reproduction. Reduce war and conflict to avoid mass casualties that could create population imbalances. Advance science, genetics, and reproductive medicine to safeguard the future of human fertility. Because while what-ifs are fun to think about, some questions are better left unanswered. The future of humanity is fragile. The balance of life is delicate. And if one day the world wakes up to find only one man left, it may already be too late. Stay curious. Until next time on What Ifs.